So here we are, my fellow ponies, Season 7. Who'd have thought we'd ever get this far? But how does it start off? Well, for the first time ever, we have a season premiere that's actually 2 separate episodes, so I'll be talking about them in 2 separate reviews. We begin with Celestial Advice. Shortly after the event of the Season 6 finale, Starlight, Trixie, Thorax and Discord are honoured for their heroics against Queen Chrysalis and reformation of the Changeling colony. After Discord queries what Twilight has next for Starlight, she suddenly fears for her students' future, and turns to Celestia for advice on what path is the best for Starlight to go. These first 2 episodes for the 7th season come to us courtesy of Joanna Lewis and Christine Sonko, whom also take over from Josh Haber to become the new story editors for the series. I have no objections to this myself. Despite only being part of the writing team for 2 years, the lady writers' contributions to Pony thus far have been consistently impressive, as their storytelling usually displays a clear and confident understanding of the characters and their world, and what makes them so universally appealing to fans of all ages. Celestial Advice is no exception, as it proves to be a great way to open a season that even at this early stage, I'm feeling optimistic about. Along with a perfectly updated intro that now features Starlight looking and feeling more positive, and the newly revamped My Little Pony logo, the episode unfolds as a very organic continuation of To Where and Back Again, seemingly picking up very soon after where it left off. But perhaps most compelling is the vastly different and arguably unexpected direction it takes. Despite having a trailer that notably placed emphasis on a specific scene involving Starlight and Sunburst casting a dark magic spell, the episode actually completely deviates from the usual season premiere expectations. There's no villains or threats for our characters to face. Instead, it's a simple slice of life story. While many consider these types of episodes to be what MLP truly does best, opening a season with one, not to mention its 7th, is still a bold and risky move, but thankfully it really pays off. Having just been through a dangerous rescue mission and battle to save Equestria, and reformed an entire race in the process, I think it's only fair that the ponies get a well-deserved break from life-threatening action. And for the audience, it's definitely different, but succeeds as a nice change of pace. All the featured characters are still realised and written as delightfully as we've come to know them over the years. Twilight is still as anxious as ever, and is particularly and appropriately riddled with fears and concerns in a number of what-if scenarios, as she magically visions multiple choices for where Starlight should be sent away to, and considers all the pros and cons for each option. Meanwhile, Discord is still an enjoyable douche that Trixie can't stand, and whose interference is ultimately what sends Twilight into a state of panic. For this reason, I was a bit annoyed that he didn't get called out about his actions and the amount of pressure and stress they ended up creating, even if he did have both Twilight and Starlight's best interests at heart. There's also plenty of humorous moments to go around, such as Spike's rarity impression and Pinky's instant party in the cold open, and Celestia's realisation that her name is sometimes used as an expression, an amusing callback to a joke that, to my recollection, hasn't been mentioned since Season 2. Speaking of our Royal Princess of the Sun, she finally gets some time in the spotlight during the 3rd act. While I don't think it quite means that this qualifies as the long-awaited Celestia episode, it could well be the closest we get to receiving one. Unfortunately, it does a fantastic job with her, portraying her as wise and compassionate, but also as something of a sly jokester. Seeing her hysterically burst into laughter is just hilarious, even if it does initially throw you for a loop by implying that she's laughing at Twilight's dilemma. After that, the narrative excellently provides her with some much needed history into her time as Twilight's mentor. These insightful and moving scenes superbly intertwine with events dating back to before and during the very first episode, as we see just how thoroughly she thought and planned out Twilight's future meeting with her soon-to-be best friends, and how difficult and emotional it was for her on a personal level.
What if she runs into a manticore? Or what if she gets pulled into Tartarus? Or worst of all, what if she doesn't get along with any pony?
Are we supposed to say something?
I don't think so.
I kept you in Canterlot longer than I should have. Eventually, I realized all the anxiety I felt was because I didn't want you to go.
Really?
I loved having you as a student. You challenged me and taught me just as much as I taught you. I am embarrassed to admit it, but I was afraid if you made friends, you wouldn't need me anymore.
As well as practically confirming that the main six representing the elements of harmony wasn't something that just happened by chance, it also wonderfully strengthens the special bond between Celestia and Twilight, as it shows that there are more parallels between them than we may have thought before, especially now that Twilight herself has gone from being a star student to Celestia to having a star student with Starlight. Upon eventually deciding to graduate her from friendship lessons but allowing her to choose her own path, Starlight finally admits that she's not ready to leave, to the joy of Twilight, who isn't truly ready to say goodbye. This last-minute conclusion is a bit rushed, and I can understand if some may think it undercuts everything that came in the episode before, but honestly, I think it works. Twilight still learns a valuable lesson about understanding the difficulty of letting someone close to them leave to make their own path, while Starlight smartly doesn't rush to do something that she, and I'm sure a considerable number of viewers, doesn't believe she's ready to do. I'd have to guess that it may be foreshadowing for an inevitable event later in the season, but it allows the characters to wait until the time for such an occasion is right for them. It also gives Starlight more room and time to grow, which as a fan I do think she still needs, and leaves the episode with a really heartwarming ending to finish on. Celestial Advice isn't quite perfect, but it does pack some top-notch and relatable character moments and messages. And I have to give the writers credit for taking a chance with a more unconventional direction for a season premiere. For me, it gets Season 7 underway with a gold star score of 9 out of 10.